Hello everyone. Today we're going to be discussing how to pick the right type of foundation for your skin type and how to pick the right tone for your skin colour. So that was a question that somebody asked me last night, so I'm going to do my best to address it. So basically there's three different types of foundation. There's water-based, oil-based and silicone-based. And generally how you tell the difference, it doesn't really tell you on the front what it is. You have to look at the ingredients, and sometimes it doesn't even have the ingredients on the back, and you need to look it up online. But basically, if you are browsing the foundations and like the first ingredient will usually be water, but that doesn't mean that it's water based. If like say the third or fourth or fifth or sixth ingredient is a word ending in cone, then you probably have a silicone based foundation in your hand, and that type of foundation is quite good for oily skin and or combination skin. And generally you can tell your skin type if it's oily is if you get like your T-zone kind of gets shiny throughout the day, or across your nose gets shiny throughout the day. That's like oily to combination skin, and that's kind of foundation that would have a tendency to slide off or to not stick to the skin. Hang on 1 second.
And the remote control one.
Very good. I think the remote control is downstairs.
In my bed.
Oh, okay. Well, then you can play with it.
Well, I don't know where it is.
Quarantine.
Do
you want to say hello, Scott?
Huh?
On the video?
Hello.
That's Scott.
Hello.
I'm doing a video. Now, go and play with your Thomas.
Okay.
So where were we? So yeah, so silicone based one is for kind of combination skin. Then you have water based that won't have any cones in it, or if there are, they'll be very low down on the list.
Speaking to nobody, you know.
And the cone ones will be further down on the list. And what the water-based foundation is good for dry skin, because it will kind of penetrate, and generally these foundations market themselves as like skin loving ingredients and all of that, and I have dry skin, and my skin, like I kind of get a bit oily here and here throughout the day, but generally my problem is like flakiness. So I would find that the silicone based ones like sit in the flakes, whereas the water based ones kind of like skim over them. They would be my preference, water based. So like two of these are water based and they're quite matte, so you can see there. And then this one is kind of I think it's kind of silicone water based. That one wouldn't last great but looks great for like photos and stuff. And then I bought this one. It's like a stick one. I'm not a big fan of that one. It's very like shows up all your pores and everything. I just wanted to try something new, but I'd say this one would suit somebody with like very oily skin. So then there's oil-based foundations, which are very hard to come by. They're generally very heavy on the skin, quite full coverage, and would be suitable for people with really dry skin. I haven't actually tried a full or like an oil-based one myself, but I would be open to trying it. Like I like trying new things. So that's basically the types of foundation. The shade of foundation then would depend on your skin tone. So skin tone you can tell by looking at the veins in your wrist, and if they look blue, generally you're a cool skin tone, and if they look kind of green, you're a warm skin tone. I am a cool to neutral skin tone, so to match, I would go cool or neutral in the bottom. Now, a lot of them tell you that, whether they're warm toned or light toned. So this one here that I got for like photos and stuff, that's it telling me it's a soft beige warm tone. And then, excuse me, This one here, amber beige. So amber is like a yellowy color. That's kind of warm as well. And then ivory is, I would say, a neutral to cool tone. So, I mean, you could try these on your wrist in the stores. It's really hard to tell in the stores because of the lighting that they have. So I would say to maybe get a little tester. Sometimes they have them like underneath, ask like in Boots or something, and take it home and try it like along here or along here on your skin and see which blends the best. Now, you want to go lighter rather than darker. So if it's like in between two shades, pick the lighter one because you can build up the color. And you know, we often hear of this line. I would tend to go lighter and blend it down. So like I put foundation on my neck because I kind of have a neck chin, so the two of them kind of, it's not really separate, you know. But if you want to go darker than your natural skin tone, that's always harder to work with rather than lighter. So if it's between two tones, pick the lighter one. I would say most Irish skin tones, ivory is generally a safe bet. Now, I have pink undertones in my skin as well, which you would think would be warm, but they're not. And I generally correct with a green primer. So primer is something that I use underneath all my foundation because I have dry skin. I need like another layer in between my moisturizer and my foundation, just so it doesn't like flake in all those little bits of dry skin, especially across here. And I tend to get little patches of eczema like here. I've had that for a while. I've tried steroid cream and everything. I can't get rid of it. But that's the green color correcting primer. So like it goes on and you're like, ah, green. But it actually blends in quite nicely. And it gives like a soft base to your skin. So it kind of, you can feel the difference. Like that is much softer than that. So it's smoother and it kind of feels like it has like a little bit of a powder on it. It just gives the foundation something to grab onto. Now there's different types of primer, and I've learned that a silicone primer, which I have here, which is this one by The Ordinary, it looks great. Like I literally would just put this over my moisturizer if I was going out and not wear foundation, and it kind of just blurs the face and evens out kind of the shininess. But it does not go well under a water-based foundation, which is what I use. So that's kind of crap, but I bought it. It was only €7, so it doesn't really matter. So what I've learned is water-based primer. Scott. No, you need to be careful. Whoops. So what I've learned is water-based primer. Hang on. Oh, God. The sooner this is over, the better. Now, so what I've learned is water-based primer under water-based foundation. So I got this one, I think it was like €6 from Wet n Wild. They do it up in a pharmacy off the Navan Road. And it's so cool. It's like a jelly. And it's completely clear. And I just scoop up a little bit of that and rub it in, and it actually feels really nice, cooling, kind of moisturizing, and that's what I want for my skin type. But if you're oily, I'd say probably go with a silicone based primer and a silicone based foundation. But like that, it doesn't really matter, you know. You're going to get one and you'll be like, oh, that's separating a bit, or that's settling in the flakes a bit, and I don't like that. And you might try a different type. And you don't need to know. But it's just, if you can figure it out ahead of time, it might just give you more of a chance of picking up the right one for your skin. And just a disclaimer, I have washed my hands. I'm touching my face. I haven't been outside at all in like 2 days, so I'm not like transmitting anything. And all my makeup is like sealed and clean, so it's fine. So today I'm going to go with Which one will I go? I think I'll go with the Catrice matte finish. I like a matte finish just because I can get a little bit shiny here and here as the day goes on. So what you do is you just smearing it on, and you can see here that this is a warm toned foundation, which I'm kind of like color correcting by using this. If I was matching, I would be using this one. This is like a perfect match for my skin, but I want, because I'm going to be contouring, I want a warmer tone, because then I'm going to make certain areas of my face like cool toned. You'll see what I'm trying to achieve. But for like an everyday look, you should just match your face. But I'm going fancy because I'm bored. We're all bored. So you're just rubbing it in. Some people use beauty blenders. Some people use foundation brushes. I have found that for me, my best finish is with my fingers. Foundation brushes tend to leave brush strokes with water-based foundation. They might be better for silicone-based, I don't know. Foundation brushes on your brush set, which has got knocked over, would be this type of brush. So it's a big, large, flat one. Can't get it to focus, but yeah, it's a big, large, flat one, and you just paint it on, but I don't particularly like that. So I put it on my eyelids, I put it everywhere. So you can see it's kind of warming me up a bit. You can see there, this is the difference here. And you can see it's still kind of shiny. But we're going to sort that with powder. And then... Now, another thing foundation will do is it will darken throughout the day. It oxidizes as it's exposed to the air. So that's why I'm saying go lighter rather than darker. Because you put it on in the morning, you wear it all day, it will get darker as the day goes on. But for me, this slightly darker, warm one just kind of not matches, but like warms me up a bit. Now, so that is the foundation, and it feels nice and dry, and it's not like slicking off my face, which is always good. The silicone ones tend to like feel like they're not in your skin, they're just sitting on them for my skin type. So that's that. Next, I'm going to go in with concealer under here because I have some fine lines and it's kind of like darker, and I always feel like when this area of my face is brighter, I just feel better. So I have a couple of different types of concealer. I have this one by Catrice, which I like, and it's light and it's neutral. You can see the difference from that to the foundation. Ooh, focus. Okay, it's not focusing, but trust me. And I have, this one is like a putty kind of consistency. It's camouflage. I would use that more for blemishes than under the lines because it's kind of oily. There's no ingredients on it, but I'd say like it has oil in it, so it settles in the lines. So you don't want to do that. You want one that kind of dries quite quickly. The one that I'm going to use today though is the Jeffree Star one. It's kind of made for going under your eyes because it's like quite light and creamy. And I don't do that triangle thing that you see a lot of YouTubers do. I've learned that that doesn't suit me. I've learned kind of what way my face is, and I do like a little bit of down the nose and the chin. So these are all the bits of your face that you want to like bring forward, so to speak. So I kind of think of it in terms of your skull. So when you're thinking of your bone structure, like these are the squishy bits. So these are like the hollows, And these are the bits that you want to darken. And then the bony bits, like the bits where there's like prominent bone, like your chin, they're the bits that you want lighter, so to bring forward. So you're kind of trying to make yourself look a bit like a skull. And I do use the damp beauty blender for this, and I just start at the edge and I bring it like right under. And a lot of YouTubers, you hear of this term baking. I don't bake because it makes my under eyes feel weird and cakey. So what baking is, the idea is that you're stopping your concealer from moving around by putting powder over the liquid as soon as possible. So that is the idea. But I'm going to do my powder next anyway, so I really don't see the need for baking, and it feels weird and it can look very cakey. So you can see there, I've lightened up under my eyes, and I'm going to lighten up my chin. And this is why I went with a foundation that was initially a bit darker for me, because I like lightening it. And then I have light hair and like darker hair. I'm going to contour, so that's why I'm doing this. If I wasn't contouring and if I was doing every day, I would just use the one that matches me perfectly, and I just rub it on like moisturizer and I'm good to go. So I want to keep this like on the top of my nose, so I'm just going to like rock it back and forward. And then, so you're basically just patting it onto your face. I mean, you can use your hands, it's not a big deal if you don't have one of these. I think this was like €3 in Boots, and there are ones you can buy that are like €20. It's a sponge, so pat pat pat, and that is that. So you can see, like, already, like, I don't, nothing on, just moisturizer when we started, and already, like, I go out like this, no problem. If the kids interrupted me or whatever, I'd just be like, okay, let's go, like, it's not a big deal. But powder, I want to set it because it feels better on my face. So I have a couple of different types. I have a loose powder, which I bought for baking, which I don't do. So a loose powder just basically looks like that. If you sneeze into it, it's gonna go everywhere. A pressed powder is just that. It's powder, but it's pressed, so it's hard. This is my preference because I have kids and they get into everything. And then I invested in this a while ago, and I actually find it quite good. This is by Benefit, and it's essentially a powder, but it has a bit more pigment and it's a little bit more coverage. And I wear this on the days where I don't wear foundation, just to even my complexion out a bit. And it's basically, you have a sponge with it and you have a brush with it, and you get it on the sponge and you press it onto your skin. And I find that really, like, it's like the lightest coverage of foundation, and I find that really nice just over my moisturizer in the morning before we go out the door to school. Pat it here, here and here, good to go. But today I'm going to use my pressed powder, and I'm going to use Scott knocked over all my brushes. I'm going to use just like a big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to set all that liquid onto my face, and that is it. So that's all the light bits done. So now I'm going to go in and darken like the hollows of the skull with some darker powder. So you want to keep all this matte. So I have, hi Chloe, I'm just doing a video of makeup.
Why?
Just because I'm bored. Do you want to say hi?
Hey.
It's just recording, so you'll be on it later. I'll call you.
Okay.
So when you're doing your darker, this is what I have. It's by Wet n Wild. It's just a dark powder. You can use a brown eyeshadow. You can use any brown powder that's matte. So, and that's darker. And bronzer works as well, but try not to go with a metallic thing because that's for other parts of the face. So you're trying to get these bits to look like they're lower rather than higher, and if anything has a sparkle in it, it kind of brings it forward. That's why we use highlighter like here. So for the darker bit, yeah, so I've learned by like the feel of my face and by trial and error where to go. So like my bone ends here. I go a little bit higher because it just looks a bit better, and I kind of keep it parallel to the ground. But I basically, some people do this, some people do a shape like a triangle. Basically I do a line like that. Like that, can you see? And then I kind of leave that line and I shade down like that. Down. So I don't know if you can see. And then I had someone else asking, Nicola, I think it was, about the owl neck chin. So what I do is I start behind my ear and I go down like vertically, and then I blend it back like right behind my ear. And then I kind of like feel where my jawline is, and I do a line along like that, and then I blend down from there like so, and then I bring it back to here and I do the line and I blend down from the line. So that's it. So that's one side like contoured, and there's the other side that isn't. So it's just giving a bit of definition to like that hollowy part of your face. And then what I like to do, and I don't know why it looks better, it just does, is I kind of do a little bit up around my hairline, and I bring that down to just where I started there. I don't know why. I saw a beauty YouTuber do it and I tried it and I just like how it looks. And that's it. So that's one side contoured and one side not. So I'm going to highlight this side now. Oh, wait, one more thing. This has a brighter powder, which I like to just give a bit of contrast between the areas I haven't contoured. So I just go like a bit lighter here, and I just go like a bit lighter above here. I just like how it looks. Blendy blend them all together. So it's contouring on that side, giving me kind of a neck where I don't really have one, and that's the side with nothing, which still looks good, but it's kind of whatever you want. That's what makeup is. It's supposed to be fun. And now I'm just going to highlight. So highlighter is another big trend. I love this one. This is High Beam by Benefit. I can only ever afford like the little one. It's a liquid, but it goes quite nicely over foundation and powder. And I just draw a line there on the lighter bit. Hello, I'm doing a video.
Somebody gets.
Yeah. So you just draw a line along kind of the boniest bit. Now eyeshadow, my eyeshadow usually comes out here a bit. I haven't done any yet. I might go like here depending on the look, but this is just like a basic highlighter, and I just kind of use my finger to press that in, and you're kind of bringing it down at an angle. So the shine is kind of like where the light hits your face. So again, this is shiny, it's just bringing that bit forward. So the more you're like bringing this bit forward, the more you're like, this is sinking in because it's shaded. And I just like how it looks. So that's like highlight contouring 101 on that side, and nothing on this side, which also is fine. It's just whatever you want. It's just fun. So that's it. So if there is any more questions, feel free to ask me and I'll do another video. Bye.